Area Committee held on the 18th of September 2024. I have apologies from Councillor Bradley. I can see that we have present Councillors Brogan, Brown, Callaghes, Cowan. Councillor Cowie? Oh, apologies. I can see that our remote participants have now we've been experiencing some technical issues, so if we just give them a moment. Hi Chair, I can confirm that the remote participants have rejoined, so I'll start the sederant again. I have apologies from Councillor Bradley. I can see that we have present Councillors Brogan, Brown, Callaghes and Cowan. Councillor Cowie? I'm not seeing you present. Also present today is Councillor Fulton. Councillor Lennon? No, I'm not seeing you present. I have apologies from Councillor Loudon. Councillor Nugent is present. I have apologies from Councillor Ray, and Councillor Walker is also present. We also have colleagues from Police Scotland in attendance today, and with that I'll pass back to yourself, Chair, to commence today's business. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, do we have any declarations of interest? Okay, thank you. We'll move to item 2. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Happy to agree the minutes as the correct record? Thanks, Margaret. Okay, item 3 on the agenda is a local policing annual update from Chief Inspector Gary Ferguson and Inspector Linda Slowey. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chief Inspector Gary Ferguson. I'm the local area commander for East Kilbride and Rutherglen, Cambuslang, supported within the subdivision by Inspector Linda Slowey, who's with me just now. And the makeup of the division is we have a community policing team, a response policing team, and a priority policing team. And additionally, we're supported by both local and national specialist officers to try and give the best service that we can to all the members within the community. As a part of the division, we have a local policing plan where we try to improve the public health, a partnership approach, a vision. Ultimately, we want to try and keep people safe and for a more protected and resilient Scotland. We do this as part of the plan by breaking it down into 3 different areas: protecting our communities, safeguarding our citizens, and enhancing the service. Linda is doing a great deal of work within the local community with her and her team, and I'm going to hand it over to Linda to give you an update on some of the work that she's doing, Chair.
Good afternoon. Our presentation is, like the Chief Inspector said, based on the local policing plan, and I'll start off by mentioning the partnership working, which remains key to addressing the issues within the local community. Our local officers continue to liaise with partners and in the community and share information to detect and deter crime. The issue of youth disorder is tackled robustly by our officers, and we work closely with schools, antisocial behaviour investigation teams from South Lanarkshire Council and social work to enforce and divert to further reduce and impact on such incidents. We have worked in partnership with the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service to tackle the issue of fire raising in the community, and whilst the police identify the offenders, the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, they provide education inputs as to the consequences of setting such fires and attempt to identify any motive behind offending behaviours, and this has been well received by the participants. The ongoing issues are continually reviewed via our Community Safety Hub meetings. These are weekly meetings with partners in local authority housing, antisocial investigation teams and the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, which identify problematic tenants, hotspot locations for joint tasking to decrease antisocial behaviour in the area in order to improve the life for our communities. We have school-based officers at Stonelaw High, Cathkin High and Trinity High schools. They've got dedicated officers based within, and these officers have delivered inputs this term regarding bullying, online safety and the role of police in the community. The relationships with staff and pupils continue to strengthen, and it's key to engaging and diverting pupils away from criminality. Youth disorder intervention. Our community officers have continued to engage with various youth groups over the last 12 months. In particular, officers attended Universal Connections in Rutherglen and spoke about antisocial behaviours, the dangers involved in gang culture and how people's actions affect others. These inputs have been well received and delivered mainly to the age group 12 to 15. We have worked with South Lanarkshire antisocial investigation teams. The police are now able to refer problem families within the community for a joint partnership approach, and parents have been held accountable for their child's actions even when away from the family home. Joint visits have been arranged and carried out whereby tenancies are at risk if the problematic behaviour continues. The It'll Cost You campaign saw officers visit licensed premises to deter proxy purchasing of alcohol by young adults for young people. Additionally, joint visits were carried out with trading standards and licensing and community officers to identify premises selling vapes to underage persons. And as a result of the disorder down in England, which we've seen in the recent months, our officers have provided reassurance visits to our religious sites in the area and provided that reassurance where required. Violent crime and antisocial behaviour. Violence reduction plans have been running now in Rutherglen and Cambuslang area for some months. The majority of offending youths have undertaken conditions placed upon them regarding crowd gatherings. This is thanks to our link-in with Custody Division. Joint visits to the known gang nominals' homes alongside Michelle Furness from South Lanarkshire Council and the antisocial investigation teams, which warned of the consequences to tenancy should their child's behaviour continue. And a number of unacceptable behaviour notices have been issued to families, and this work will continue. 2 public benches have been removed from the main street in Rutherglen, and this has been an area where youths have congregated and caused significant issues. Ongoing partnership working and engagement with local youth groups such as Universal Connections and Glasgow Life, where diversionary football nights have been arranged on Thursdays and Fridays, and we've also had a link in with the Celtic Youth Foundation, who are taking referrals from Universal Connections to get some of the kids down and involved in football and other activities down at Celtic Park. Safeguarding our citizens. Our dedicated community safety officers continue to deliver their inputs and awareness events in and around the areas. Our interaction with nurseries and schools continue throughout the term time with inputs delivered regards online safety, bike marking events, drug and alcohol awareness and road safety. All interactions and preventions being pitched at age appropriate levels so the children take the best message away. Inputs have been delivered to secondary school pupils throughout South Lanarkshire regarding online and social media use, and in particular how individuals can leave themselves vulnerable to exploitation. This has resulted in ourselves seeing an increase in reporting of incidents, and this is due to members of the public having the confidence to come to us and report their experiences. Leaflet drops have also taken place throughout the year regarding highlighted campaigns for bogus workmen, doorstep crime, courier frauds and home safety, and we continue to provide advice via online campaigns and publications. Substance-induced harm. Our local community police teams, along with our priority policing team, continue to target known drug users and those concerned in the supply of drugs. There have been a number of successful operations in the last 12 months with large quantities of drugs and cash being seized. This has caused significant disruption to the organised crime in the local area. Intelligence-led policing is a large part of the operation around disruption. A few examples of work to date: a male was stopped last month driving a car in the area and was subject to a search, and located within the vehicle was £8,000 in cash. A further search of his residential property within the area under warrant recovered a further £3,000 in cash, 2 kilograms of cocaine, a kilo of heroin, and 500,000 atizolam, which are fake Valium tablets, a street value in excess of £100,000. This work has a significant impact on organised crime in the local area and public health. Again, after another vehicle stop in the area, a recovery of 105 bags of cocaine within a total estimated value of £8,500, and that male was arrested and put to court. And overall, the criminal cash seized in the area by officers since January this year has been a total of £48,930. Acquisitive crime. Using the analytical tools at our disposal and also intelligence-led data, going forward into the year, we plan our patrols accordingly as we head into the autumn and festive events. We continue to gather evidence in relation to shoplifting teams who travel and are active in the area from time to time. Intelligence-led days of action are run in partnership with retailers. And road safety. Divisionally, we follow a national campaign of road safety events to promote safety and target specific issues. Locally, we utilise trained community officers to tackle local issues such as speeding and congestion outside schools. We are also supported by divisional roads policing officers, and we continue to utilise intelligence-led data to target areas of complaint and also refer to stats around road crashes to target areas. We have invested in training, resulting in 100% of our community policing officers being trained in the use of the Unipar speed detection devices to maximise our impact on the road users who do not adhere to the safe speed limits. Community officers will continue to target hotspot areas with enforcement and education as required. And that concludes the presentation, and happy to take any questions.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we'll open it up to questions. Roberts?
Chair, I'm sorry I got kicked off the system, so I came back in the middle of that. I wanted to ask about vapes, though, which I heard being mentioned along the line. We had a report at the Communities Enterprise Committee yesterday about the high level of vape detection, as it were, to underage sales when they do the under 18 visits and things like that. I wondered how bad the problem was in the Rutherglen and Cambuslang area.
Thanks for the question, Councillor. I think it's a systemic problem. It's common across all of society just now, and it is one that is on our radar. As part of our joint visits with other organisations, we do testing of companies that sell these. So we'll continue to do that moving forward. It is one of our priorities to try and prevent these lower level crimes and offences. And however, in relation to figures as to how it is within Rutherglen, I don't have those figures, but I think it's consistently across the whole of Lanarkshire.
Yeah. Thanks very much for that. Could I maybe just come back briefly on that and say that Communities Enterprise Committee were very keen to make sure that this was pursued with some vigour, because it's an issue of quite some considerable significance in a number of local areas. And I think there are issues of involving the Procurator Fiscal on repeat offenders and the licensing board where appropriate as well. Could I perhaps have an assurance that would be the case with regard to the local offenders in this area?
Thank you, Councillor. What I can say in relation to that, without going into too much detail, there are ongoing operations planned for in the coming weeks, which will give the reassurance to yourself that that is remaining one of the priority and remaining one of the focuses for myself and the local community policing teams.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Andrea?
Hello, hi.
That's you.
Can you see? Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I can still see Robert on my screen. So, having been kicked out, he's obviously making the most of his screen time now.
Lucky you.
I can only see Robert, but I'll keep speaking. Thanks for the report.
Andrea, could you just come back in, please? Thanks, Andrea.
Right. Oh, I can see Carol now. Hi. Thank you. I just wanted to ask, just to touch on the youth antisocial behaviour, which obviously we're all well aware is a huge problem in Rutherglen and Cambuslang. And I just wanted to, I know that we've got school-based officers in the high schools, but the officers will know that some of the youths who are involved in this antisocial behaviour are possibly primary school age, 10, 11 years of age. And I wondered if the police are currently doing any any outreach work to the primary schools. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Councillor. Yes is the short answer to that. Whilst we have the community-based officers within the high schools, we don't have the same demand within primary. However, dedicated within my area of business, I have community safety officers who regularly attend at primary schools addressing the ongoing concerns and issues from yourselves and other constituents. And that will continue to go forward.
That's great. Thank you. Just trying to maybe encourage that we catch them younger. But yeah, thanks very much for that. Thanks.
Okay, Margaret.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks very much for the presentation. Could I just ask, and it's maybe too quick for me on the slide, in terms of the community hub meetings, does that include housing? And it would be quite good just to get a flavour of some of the issues that come up there. And just to say, I know there were various issues in Whittlesbourne in terms of youth antisocial behaviour, but when I was up at one of the housing association meetings in Whittlesbourne and talking to people, they're quite sort of pleased it's actually kind of quietened down a lot now. So that I know maybe shouldn't say that, particularly during summer months. But so that's really positive from that point of view. Although there is obviously still an issue around drugs, which is difficult, as you know. In terms of people being willing to come forward, and we do always kind of try and advocate that people need to report things and come forward. But no, that's fairly positive for that. The only other thing I was going to raise, and it may be more appropriate to speak to you afterwards or do it one of the surgeries, is I'm getting a lot of issues being raised when there's a match day at Legends, Cambuslang Rangers. Nobody seems to use the park and ride. They're all parking in the Somerville Street estate and round about there, supporters' buses, all the rest of it. People getting abusive, they tackle them. So I was going to ask, I know that's been raised through a number of different forums as well, but just to get any update on if those maybe plans, maybe to have a presence at the next meet or whatever. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your question. And as regards to the hub meetings, they are run weekly and as a partnership approach, so housing, antisocial behaviour teams, and we've just recently started up a youth hub meeting as well after that hub meeting. But absolutely, it's a partnership approach, and that referral system that I spoke about in the presentation, I think it's as a result of the really good partnership working that's been ongoing. Certainly in the last 6 to 8 months, that intense working with housing, going out and issuing these unacceptable behaviour notices has really had an impact on the behaviour of the young folk in the area. And I think that's why we've seen that reduction. Universal Connections and other partners, Pathways, other agencies like that coming in to use diversion tactics with the youth offending is really having a significant impact on taking these kids, young adults, off the street and giving them something else to focus on. So it's really having that positive impact that we are seeing, because we're not getting that same amount of disorder and violence being reported into us. And like I say, that's been certainly noticed, the kind of reduction in those calls, significant reduction in the last few months, over the summer months as well. Again, with undertaking conditions that we are putting on them, that they can't gather in such large groups, is the kind of double-sided of that. So yeah, it's having a really positive impact going forward. But that will continue. That work will continue ongoing, even although we're hitting that reduction period It's not to say that it won't raise its head again. So we will continue keeping on that, having that referral in process for any young people that come to your attention, so that we can be on that as soon as possible and get that work on going as soon as we can. The schools, social work also have an input in that as well. So it's definitely a partnership approach. It's not just lie with ourselves at the enforcement side of it. It needs to be that partnership, and it's certainly working. As regards the Cambuslang Rangers thing, I'll take that forward, and I'll have a look and see what their fixtures are coming up, and see what presence we can get along there for some extra attention. Okay.
Can I just ask a quick question, please? You'll know that I raised concerns about antisocial behaviour in Spring Hall. I'm just looking for a bit of feedback on the quad bikes, because I think the feeling is that things improve when the quad bikes are available. So I'm aware that we share them. How often do we have them? And, you know, what is the feedback, you know, is you noticing a change in trends? Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, we do share them, but when we say we share them, we only share them between my officers, between East Kilbride and Rutherglen. And actually, in the last 6 months, they've primarily been in Rutherglen because of the issues in Cambuslang and Rutherglen with the youth behaviour. They are there day in, day out. We've got specially trained officers committed to it. They're a fantastic piece of kit. Even the engagement, the disruption that they form is phenomenal, and we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to give as much presence as we can. Ultimately, what I do is I direct my resources to wherever there is the greatest threat, risk and harm.
Great, thanks very much. Okay, I don't think we've any further questions. Okay, so thank you for the presentation today, much appreciated. Are we happy to note the presentation? Thank you, Margaret. Okay, we'll move to item 4 in the agenda, and that's community grant applications. We have 4 community grants. Do we have any questions or comments? No? Okay, so I'm happy to approve the grants. Can I have a seconder, please? Thanks, Margaret. Okay, we have no items of urgent business, so thank you for your attendance today. Thank you.